Hey guys, it's Nat. Welcome to my kitchen. Today on Baking Me Happy, we're going to be doing a Black Forest cake. So this cake apparently is named after the Black Forest in Germany. It is made with Dutch chocolate. There's a couple of techniques in here I wanted to show you, so I thought that it would be great for a tutorial. I'm going to tell you what we need as we go through, and as usual, I gotta add a twist. I gotta add a twist because it's been recommended to me by so many people, and you already know one of my favorite substitutions, espresso powder. Now, we're not putting enough in it to make it taste like coffee. We're putting enough in it for it to bring out that rich cocoa flavor. Y'all gonna have to excuse me now. Sometimes I get to talking fast and you can't understand me, and that's been pointed out to me. I try to put on my customer service voice. Sometimes pronunciations slip by me. I will try to talk more slowly so that you can understand what I'm saying. I've got a new camera today. Hopefully the lighting will be better. I've gotten some complaints about that too. So we'll just see how it goes. We're going to see how it goes. Not going to be using the mixer while I'm talking. I'm living, I'm learning, I'm loving. I'm turning into like a 45-year-old white lady. I'm like, laugh, live, love, bake. Okay, so let's get her started. The first thing that you're going to need is 6 room temperature eggs. I took these out about a half hour ago. They're still a little cold. So if they're still a little cold, what you can do is get you a bowl of warm water. Not hot. We don't want to boil them. Just warm water. Sit them in there for just a couple of minutes and they get warm enough. The reason we want them to be warm is because we want them to get aerated. This is not going to have any baking powder in it. So again, like the cookies we did the other day, the eggs is going to bring the fluff. So you're going to need 6 of those. You're going to need about a stick and a half. And if you don't have a kitchen scale, let me show you. For baking, you're going to find a lot of recipes that'll give you in grams. And that's because baking is a chemistry. It is very precise. So for this recipe, it called for 150 grams of butter. It equals about a stick and a half. But as we all know, sometimes the processing process with any product, condensed milk. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Eagle brand. Hit me up. Let's go. Okay? So as we know, what's on the package may not always be what it is. So that's why you need to measure. I got this cute little scale for like $25 at Walmart, and it works good. Just make sure that when you're weighing, when you put your container on here, tear it out, which means zero it out, and then weigh. Because if you're weighing the container, it's obviously, right? You have to say these things because there are no silly questions, but there are silly people who won't ask the silly questions. You know? All right. So 150 grams, which is about a stick and a half, but, just to be on the safe side, we're going to melt that too. You want it melted, but then cool. And get this. Obviously, you're going to need a tablespoon vanilla extract. I'm going to put this espresso powder in here. You want Dutch chocolate if you can. Baker's is a good choice, but you need powder. So I couldn't find any like Dutch chocolate, and it just didn't seem right to use Hershey's for this because even though I guess there is a Dutch Pennsylvania population, but I doubt it has anything to do with the Hershey's. So I just went, this is American too, but it sounds fancy. Ghirardelli. It's the best I could find. I want this to be a good, rich tasting cake. I want it to be perfect. I want it to be right. And I want it to be pretty. I might get 2 out of 3 on this. We know me. I'm messy and I have arthritis. Not promising anything on my rosettes. Just saying. Okay. So you're going to need about exactly a half a cup of the cocoa. Then you're going to need 2/3 cup of plain all-purpose flour. AP, all-purpose. Okay, see, I already know what we're going to do now. We're going to Wash our hands. We're going to preheat to 350. Okay, so let's go ahead and do preheating to 350. Okay, you're going to go ahead. You need 3 8-inch cake pans. I lined them just on the bottom with parchment paper. My Silpats weren't big enough, but you can use Silpats if you have them. And I just sprayed a little of my baker's joy in the bottom to make them stick, okay? So I've got 3 of those. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to beat our eggs. Now that your eggs are, if you use the bowl of water technique to warm your eggs, be sure you dry them off completely. We do not want any of that water dripping off into our batter, okay? All right, so we're going to go ahead and beat up our eggs, which I have dried. And remember, we got 6 of these buddies, so we got a whole litter. I know that's not right, trust me. I'm always worried that I look like a big old boo-boo the fool up here. Everybody tells me I do okay, so thank y'all. Thank you to all my subscribers. This is your reminder to go ahead and subscribe if you haven't yet. Some of y'all just be watching and enjoying the videos, but you don't subscribe. Why? It's just put in a button. The button is right there by my profile picture, okay? See that little spot that says Nat's Kitchen? That's me. You just hit, there's a little bell right there. You just hit that button and it's free. It don't cost you nothing. Not a dime. Just a little bit of your time. Show some love to this Southern girl. All right, now that we're done with these, pop them in your garbage. You'll notice this is, like I said, it's a 3-component cake. So I've got my whole test table over here and everything. Okay, so we're just going to beat these for about 30 seconds, okay? You don't have to set a timer. It's not that serious. Just until they're, well mixed, but not too frothy. I'll show you. Okay, so you want a little bit of bubbles on the top, but you want it to be that nice yellow custardy color. I don't know if you can see it. Okay, so you want it to be that nice yellow custardy color. Just set it aside for a second. Then we're going to take our dry ingredients. So we're going to take our little, cup and a half of flour. Look, this is a long recipe, so yes, I do have notes. Even musicians use sheet music, okay? We want to do it right. I recommend you have the recipe every time too, even if you've done it 5 times, because I guarantee you, you'll think you got it all in your head. You'll be like, hey, I've been making this recipe for pecan pie. I still have my recipe for pecan pie, and I've been making that for longer than I can remember. Have your recipe on hand, okay? It always helps. You don't want to skip a step, okay? I rely on them too much because of how my brain works, but I know what to do whenever I read it, and that's all you need to do. If you know how to read and you know what the processes are that it's calling for, you can do all this too. And patience. Baking takes patience and early hours. I keep baker's hours. All right, so we're going to sift our dry ingredients and set them aside. So, and these little things, if you ever do prep work, these are really cool. These are by Kuhn Rikon. I just got them on Amazon. I get everything I need on Amazon because I find Amazon has the quality that I'm looking for that I live in a small town. I can't find some of this stuff around here, So, all right, we got our flour. We're going to put our cocoa in here. Don't start sifting until you get everything in your sifter. Okay? That's the goal, is to sift it together. Now, again, I don't want this to taste like coffee. I just want the coffee to be like makeup to a beautiful woman and not lipstick on a pig. You get me? Okay. So I'm only going to put about a tablespoon. That seems like a lot, but this makes 3 cakes. So, and the thing I like about this espresso powder in particular is like you could eat a spoonful of it and it don't taste like raging coffee. It is for baking, so it's not too overwhelming. Specifically, the main recipe that I think a lot of people use this for is tiramisu. I'll make tiramisu if y'all want me to. I'll show you how to make it. It's not my favorite. I love coffee. I think the texture of the ladyfingers gets me. If it's for you, I'll do it because I can give it to somebody else, but it won't be for me. So I don't hate it. It's just not for me. Okay, so now that we've got our dry ingredients in here, we're just going to sift them out together. I love this old sifter. My granny had one, and my grandmother and my mama, and they used them until they broke practically. And they're only like $5 at Walmart. That's crazy. Don't get, if you're going to get one like this and not the pan, the pan that you just pat and shake. If you're going to get one like this, don't get the one with the squeezy thing. Okay, get the one with the turner, because that way you just do it like this. With the squeezy thing, that little mechanism tends to get broken. Keep it simple. There's some things you just need to keep simple. All right. We got them all grated together. All right, grated. Okay, so now we're going to take our eggs and our sugar. Now you're going to want cane sugar, really fine sugar, not your regular granulated sugar. Now if you have regular granulated sugar and you don't want to go buy a pack of cane sugar for this, you can just stick it in your food processor and like buzz it for just bzz, bzz, bzz. That's it. Just bzz, bzz, bzz. Get that? Bzz, bzz. Bzz. No 4 bzz, okay? 3 is perfect. And that you just want it finely ground. You don't want it to be confectioner sugar, which is powdered sugar. You kind of want it on the in-between. So bzz, bzz, bzz. Don't mess it up. Bzz, bzz, bzz. Okay. All right, so what we're going to do is as we're beating this, we're going to leave this on, and as we're beating it, we gradually add the sugar over 45 seconds. I will stop and talk. I will not talk over the mixer, I promise. Once you get all your sugar added, you're going to add a little bit of vanilla. Okay, your little teaspoon of vanilla, right? Okay. Then you're going to beat it for another 7 to 8 minutes. I will be editing that out. Pop quiz. You just mixed your batter for 7 minutes. What do you do now? You say bye-bye to Betty Beater. Here's why. We're going to fold in the rest of our ingredients. This does not have baking powder. It doesn't have a rising agent. This is going to be our rising agent. So we cannot bust those air bubbles. So after about 7 or 8 minutes, you want it to be tripled in volume. It's going to be this white creamy color. Okay? So remember, you want it frothy and you want it tripled in volume. But what you don't want is for there not to be air bubbles. If you don't have air bubbles, you didn't do it right. Beat it some more. It's okay to go past 7 minutes a little bit, but you just want to make sure you're doing it right. We want this cake to be rich and lovely. So the next thing we're going to do, I know, Nat, why not the butter? The butter comes next, I promise. Okay? We are going to go back and fold in the dry ingredients. We're folding like we need to do our laundry. Actually, I don't have any laundry to do today. That's why I decided to do a bigger recipe, because I was like, I don't have anything else to do. I got my chores done. Got all my choring done. Now, please be gentle with this. And again, make sure you've whipped it at least 7 minutes. It's very important for the rising of this cake. And you're folding in gently. Again, patience, okay? We're going to fold it in until we don't see any more flour or powder on top, okay? And folding is just scooping from the bottom all the way back up, bringing everything from the bottom up. So it mixes itself. You're just folding it in there so they can meet in the middle. The cocoa powder says, hey, how you doing? And the liquid says, I'm all right. You want to come play? And the Coco says, a chocolate cake? She's like, yeah, let's go to the Black Forest, baby, and make a chocolate cake. And I get carried away. Anyway, I wonder how you say chocolate in German. We'll look that up. We'll look it up in a minute. German people watching, or the people who know German, are shouting it in the comments right now. Is it just chocolate? That would be funny if it's just chocolate. Like, see that chocolate cream? That's just so good. Now we fold in that melted butter. Make sure it's cool. If it's fine to your finger, that's good enough. Okay? So we're gonna fold that butter in. Oh my gosh. The batter, you can tell that it's going to be a light cake because the batter is not dense. It is very fluffy. It's a very fluffy batter, and I really like it. This is also a recipe that I've never tried. I've made a Black Forest cake before, but this is a new recipe, and I want to give credit to the person who authored this recipe. It's recipe Thai meat. Okay. I couldn't find the original Black Forest recipe that I had, and I looked in all my cookbooks, and I just didn't like some of the ingredients that they called for. Shortening. I don't care who you are. Don't use shortening unless it's with biscuits. We're going to take our 3 pans, and you're going to fill them evenly. So I would start with a little in each pan and then go back and fill them up evenly. Try to have them side by side. That butter wasn't fully incorporated. I may leave this in just to show y'all that. What do I always say? Gnats make boo-boos too. I thought it was. I sure thought it was. I sure thought it was. Gotta put this one back in there too, because I ain't making a bad cake, y'all. So if this happens to you, if you get this far and you plop your batter out and you thought something was incorporated and it's not, you just got to do like this. I didn't spray the pans either like I should have. So, well, these are nonstick pans. That's why I really didn't. And I had lined them in parchment paper. So here's the thing, and I'm going to tell you. I got it that time. Good. Okay. So we're going to pour. Again, we want to get these as evenly filled as possible. All right, so we're just going to bake these at 350 oven for about 25 minutes or until they're springy to the touch or a toothpick comes out. I hope you can see me, okay? So you're going to take a small pot. You're going to put in a half cup of sugar. You are going to want to have a jar of cherries. Oh, I threw my jar away. So a jar of cherries, it can be whatever kind you want. I usually like to use fresh cherries, but you move this a little bit. There we go. I usually like to use fresh cherries, but they're a little bit tart, for this recipe. So you're just going to take you're going to split the cherries and the juice. You're going to split a 1/3 cup of juice off and then take the rest and put in here with the sugar. Okay? And you're going to mix it as you go. Now you're going to bring this to a gentle simmer and make sure that the sugar is completely dissolved. All right, once you get this little simmer from it, you're going to go ahead and pour in a cornstarch slurry. We just mixed a little juice with some cornstarch, and that's going to be a thickening agent for it. Let's see. Some of it settled down after I made it. There we go. All right. Now we're just going to simmer this for about a minute. Now I've got my cherries in this bowl here, and I've also got a 1/3 cup of cherry liqueur. You can use Kirsch, really whatever kind you want to use. Now we've let it simmer quite long enough. We're going to add the Kirsch or the cherry liqueur. Okay. We're going to stir that in. And then we're just going to pour it over our cherries and let them stiffen. Or we're going to let them soak in that That way they'll get that good flavor. Now, another thing you want to do is when you're done with this, save you out about 3 or 4 cherries so that we can use those on the top of the cake. Okay, so we'll be back to make the icing. Okay, so for the icing, this is a different icing to what we've made before because there's no butter. What you're going to need is a whole quart of heavy whipping cream. Has to be heavy, can't be pure. It's because we're going to want it to thick up. A little bit of vanilla, about 1/3 cup powdered sugar. Okay, so basically you're going to whip all these together until they're thick and creamy. Okay, time to put her together. So the first thing, I had to run to Michael's because I didn't have any cake boards. I thought I did and I didn't. And I also, I give everything away. So I got these cute little fellows right here that I'm going to put little cake pieces in for the teachers. So, it's kind of win-win. And I got a couple more subscribers. And if one of them was you, hey. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do, you don't want this sliding around. I've got a little turntable here. So I'm just going to put a little dollop of cream right there just to hold this in place, okay? I'll wipe it off when I'm done. So you've got your 3 layers. They are going to be thin, so don't freak out. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to pop some of your icing on there. And it's really more like a chantilly, okay? And then you're going to take your spatula here and spread it out till it's not quite to the edge, okay? Just not quite, because once you put the cherries on there and the weight from the next cake, it's going to make it smush down, okay? So we're just going to go all the way around. We just want to leave a little bit on the edge. Because if you put too much in there, what's going to happen is the weight of the cake is going to come down and it's going to split out the sides, and then your sides aren't going to look good. And you're going to lose a lot of cream that way. Now, I had already brushed this bottom layer with the cherry juice, which I forgot to show you. Okay, so then you're going to take a slotted spoon and take your cherries, okay, and just put them in the middle there. Don't drain all the juice off. We still want them to be a little juicy, okay? So we want to make sure we got them all around. Okay. Just spread them out here. Okay. We're going to take our next layer and we're going to put it upside down and not press too hard, but just gently enough, okay? And then we're going to take our little brush here and take some of this cherry juice. That's why we have so much of it. And this helps with the moisture. And that's why we wanted that slurry. Okay. All right. You don't want to like soak it, but you want to get enough that it gets all the way in there. Okay. You just want to make sure, especially if you're somebody who likes that boozy flavor, that's where that boozy flavor is going to come from. So you want to make sure you got that, okay? Clean her up here a little bit. Spread the rest all over your cake. And we're going to do it like this. Now, I'm going to show you a trick to cover up the sides if you're not really good at doing sides. So don't worry about that. I'm going to show you Nat's tips and tricks for covering up ugly stuff, because when you do things as messy and ugly as I do, you got to find tricks for kind of fixing it and trying to make it look pretty, I guess. And that's another reason I wanted to make this cake, because you can make it look like messy pretty. So that's what I like about it. Nikki, come fix my lights. This chocolate real quick first. There's one right there and there's one on top of the little fridge. Thank you. Okay, we're in the final stretch now. You ready? Okay, so earlier I tempered some chocolate. Yeah, I did. Because remember I told you sometimes things get ugly and you need to cover them up? Yeah, I wasn't sure how much I was going to need, so I did plenty. But if you just temper your chocolate and spread it out like this on a parchment, then you can like break it up a little bit And then you just kind of stick it to the sides of your cake like so, in no particular order, no particular sequence. It does not have to make sense. You know why? Because it's a Black Forest cake, and this kind of makes it look foresty, like, I don't know, like tree bark, you know? So we'll take some of these longer pieces to put on the outside. I put some of my stuff in a piping bag, so it's been a day. So we're gonna take some of these chocolate and just sprinkle some all over here. Just, it doesn't matter if it's a little bit big. We just wanna make sure that we've got everything covered. All right. Now I saved out 8. That's why I only did 8 rosettes. So 1. And just for kicks and giggles, I'm going to drizzle this last bit of syrup over here. Just to kind of make it look festive. We'll put a couple of pieces of chocolate here. Just do the best you can with what you've got. And even if it's ugly, it'll be pretty. See how it's not terrible. It's pretty. See how she looks on the top? I mean, I think it turned out really good. We're going to give her a try. Okay, y'all ready? All right, first of all, look how it looks on the inside. Okay, you can see how moist it is. See? Yeah. And so this icing is more like a chantilly. It's a really light whip. So it's going to feel like it's not doing its job, but it is doing its job. I promise. So let's take a bite. I haven't had this in so long. I hope it's good. Oh my gosh. I thought the liquor was going to be overwhelming, but it isn't. It's the perfect accent for those cherries, and that chocolate tastes a lot richer because of the espresso, and it's fluffy because that 8 minutes of work we did whipping those eggs up, okay? Oh my goodness, I don't want to stop. Chantilly, like this kind of icing with the whipped cream. It's like my favorite in the world. No big deal. You know, this whole process, including going to Michael's, about 3 hours. So worth it. Okay. This has been another Baking Me Happy. I hope you had fun. I had fun. Thank you for baking with me. I hope to see you again on my next episode. If you have not subscribed and you're just sitting there checking out this funny little chef girl doing her thing, hit that button, man. It's a little bell. It's there, or there. I mean, there's only 4 places it could be. So please hit that subscribe button. Join me next time. Don't know what I'm making, but you'll see me again on Monday. And I will be doing shorter videos on the in-between. So look out for those. We're doing Christmas cookies in my shorter videos. So I'm really excited to share that with you. Please join me next time. I like sharing this with you, or I like cherrying this with you. That one was okay, right? Tell me what you think in the comments. Okay, see you next time. Bye.